Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we're going to be talking about a very, very big update we got to the Bwipo situation. Obviously, recently we found out that he is most likely going to be leaving Fnatic and that they most likely already have his replacement. So he needs to find a new home, and that is going to be a very, very big deal because historically he's been one of the better players in all of the West. He has a really, really awesome resume. But before we get into that, I just wanted to say, make sure you guys check out the first link in the description below for my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/I_am_germ. Today, when I went live, we actually broke 100 concurrent viewers for the first time ever, which was absolutely insane. So awesome. The streams have been a ton of fun. We've been growing really fast. So yeah, check it out. Maybe drop a follow, drop a prime. That'd be awesome. With that being said, let's get right into this. So, I made a video a couple days ago, depending on when this video comes out, where I was talking about the top lane situation for Team Liquid, and I was saying, I haven't really heard any rumors. I saw that Wonder followed Steve on Twitter. I know that Bwipo is available and wants to swap to top lane. I was just kind of talking about the different ideas, and I thought that both Wonder and Bwipo would make a ton of sense for Team Liquid, and that was just kind of my thoughts and opinions. To me, that made a lot of sense. I still think it makes a lot of sense, but recently, today, Wooloo, LEC Wooloo, the LEC Wooloo, I think he has like 95,000 followers on Twitter. He went live on Twitch. He streamed to Twitch talking about rumors, talking about info, talking about roster building, all this stuff. He had almost 10,000 viewers all at once. I mean, this was huge. Wooloo is massive. I mean, and it was crazy to see that many people all on there. And he was just spewing a bunch of information. He was really telling us everything that he knows or everything that he's heard, or giving us just a bunch of updates about a bunch of different players. And he doesn't know a ton about the LCS, but he knows a lot of stuff about the LEC. Whoever he is, whoever he knows, whatever, however, reliable you think he is, this guy knows a lot of stuff. And he had a little Google spreadsheet going where he had all this different information. He was mapping out all the LEC teams. He was just doing this live for everybody. He didn't have a webcam. He didn't have a mic. He didn't have much, but he came with a ton of info. And he just started mapping out all the teams, mapping all the players, seeing what he's heard, throwing out a bunch of good info. So we'll definitely be covering a lot of this stuff in videos just because, again, I really think that this is very, very high level information. But what he said about Bwipo, he has all the teams, all the rosters here, and you won't see Bwipo on any of these LEC teams. You won't see him confirmed or likely or whatever, because what he says over on this right side, Bwipo, 90% chance that he is headed to North America, which I thought was very, very interesting, because I was just wondering, obviously I get that there aren't a ton of options in the LEC. If he's leaving Fnatic, he's probably not going to G2. It seems like they have Broken Blade. Probably not going to Vitality. Seems like they have Alphari. I was thinking in my head, maybe Mad Lions, maybe Rogue. Other than that, the other teams aren't really that great, and I don't really see Bwipo going to a mid-bottom tier team. I think he wants to play on a high-level team, and maybe Mad and Rogue will still be options, but we know that North America is going to have a lot of options for him. There'll be choices of a couple of different teams, and he can go get paid a lot more money over in North America. But again, I was just saying that I think his relationship kind of throws a wrench in everything. Would he want to come to North America and have a long-distance relationship? Would his girlfriend want to come with him? Would that cause more stress and issues, or would that work well? I had no idea, but I hadn't really heard of whether or not Bwipo would come to North America, whether he would want to, or whether he would want to stay in EU. But now, obviously, with Wooloo dropping this bomb on us that there's a 90% chance that he's headed to NA, that must mean at the least Bwipo is willing to come to North America. That must mean at the least he is entertaining offers, and that is a very, very good sign for some North American teams. Now, obviously, there was no really other info to go here. He's just hearing that he might go to North America, and I thought that was very, very interesting. Obviously, when we start thinking about the teams, I still think Bwipo is going to be playing on a upper half team, so top 5 team in the LCS. When we start looking at those teams, 100 Thieves doesn't have an import slot open. They have Someday in the top lane. Maybe they want to move on from Someday, but it'll probably be to an import player. If they did, it would probably be to a guy like Tenacity. Evil Geniuses, we know they have a lot of money to throw around, but they have Impact in the top lane. Are they going to replace Impact with Bwipo? A resident Impact with an import Bwipo? That doesn't seem very likely to me. Then you have TSM, where obviously they just said that Reggie said Huni is going to be their top laner for next year. So that kind of crosses them off the list. Then you get to C9, who, they could potentially, depend, if they work some stuff around, they could open up import slots. They have a lot of money. They're selling off perks to Vitality. So they're definitely going to be making some moves. but they have Fudge up in the top lane, who's a very, very young, very promising, very good talent. We do know that Cloud9 likes to buy low and sell high on people. They bought low on Fudge, and they could definitely cash out and sell him off for a nice little chunk of change right now. But again, would they necessarily want to do that? There has been some rumors, even a prediction from Travis Gafford that Cloud9 could potentially sell off Fudge, and maybe that would be to maybe they would sell him to Team Liquid or one of these other teams. I don't necessarily know. But I wouldn't say that that's super, super likely. That seems pretty unlikely to me. Selling off Fudge, again, to go to import Bwipo from Resident Fudge. Even if you think Bwipo is better than Fudge or you think he's significantly better or whatever, still, there's always going to be a ton of value in Resident players. So this obviously gets me to the point of talking about what I think is the most likely option. I think what Bwipo is hinting at here would be Team Liquid. I think it would make sense for both parties. Team Liquid is going to want an experienced, accomplished, high-level player, which Bwipo absolutely is. You can call him coin flip, you can hate him, you can say he just ends or whatever. This guy has, played in very, very big matches for most of his career. He's had international success. He's had domestic success. He can play carries. He can, play in all metas. He does a lot of things right. Obviously, recently, this last year was weird for him where he didn't have the best spring split. He has a better summer split, but it's as a jungler. Then he has the drama at Worlds. Their team doesn't do very well. But that's just if you look at, the most recent season where a lot of players were really up and down this season for whatever reason. It was kind of a weird year. When you look at his career as a whole, this guy is very, very accomplished. This guy has an amazing track record. And also he's a free agent. So Team Liquid wouldn't have to do any crazy buyouts or anything like that. And again, if Alphari is going to Vitality, Team Liquid is going to have a nice little rack that they're getting from him to be able to, maybe throw a little bit of money at Bwipo, have him come in. He's not going to be cheap, but it's going to hopefully be cheaper than, selling off Alphari to Vitality. So I think that does make a lot of sense. And again, this fits in with what I was already talking about. I think this would be really, really cool. And then you start looking at Team Liquid's roster where they could potentially be looking at a team of Bwipo, Santorin, maybe Inspired, because you can see on this in this sheet, Inspired is on this yellow color, which means the player is for sale, which means it could be sold. So maybe Inspired ends up getting sold to TL. You got Bwipo, Santorin, or Inspired, and then either Bjergsen or Jensen with either Jensen AD carry or some other import AD carry, and Core JJ, all of a sudden, Team Liquid starts looking like a very, very scary team. You have some real nice teams forming over in EU when you look at G2, when you look at Vitality. NA needs something big to compete. They're going to need to be making some splashes. And Bwipo's a very, very big name. Maybe he's not, coming off the best year of his career or anything like that, especially as a top laner, but I still think it would be really, really cool. Obviously, the other big option that I've been talking about in the top lane, not a lot of good top laners in the West, but another one of those big names is Wunder. And Wooloo says here, he just has a bunch of question marks by Wunder. He doesn't know what is going to happen to Wunder. So again, I don't think that is super likely for TL to be going after that. Because TL is going after somebody right now. They're in talks with someone. These rosters are going to start getting filled up. So I think if TL was in close talks with Wunder, I think we'd be hearing a little bit more about it now. But again, look at how many, these are the 10 LEC teams. Look at how many players are on this right side. There is going to be some good players who are going to end up on not so good teams. What's going to happen to Wunder? What's going to happen to Mickey? Where are they going to end up? What's going to happen to Reckless? I don't know. It's going to be very, very interesting. But I really appreciated Wooloo kind of doing this stream, letting us know all the info. And we'll definitely go through some more players on this spreadsheet because he dropped in like an hour or two so much information, so many different rumors, possibilities, all that stuff. And we're now in the first week of November. This is the craziest week of the LCS LEC offseason, League of Legends offseason. This is when all of the big moves start going down. Obviously, we got a couple already. We're going to have a couple more. And it's going to be so much fun. There's just going to be a ton of stuff to talk about. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so, so much. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about TL Bwipo? Do you think it's a good idea, bad idea? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, save today and all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then.